If you want to make long-term change to your health habits, but every time you get stressed out or overwhelmed you can't stick to them, then this is for you. Now, it would be unrealistic to think that you will never get stressed out again because shit happens. So you need a strategy to put in place every time, well, shit happens. And you also need to know how to analyze it so that you can handle it better next time. Now, I was just talking with one of my one-to-one clients about this, so I'm going to use her for context. But these principles will apply in your life as well. So the week in question, she'd had a job interview coming up, which she was feeling rather stressed about, and it was taking up all of her mental capacity. Now, we did have a strategy in place going into the week, but she didn't end up sticking to it, which shows that it wasn't the right strategy for then, which is absolutely fine. And this is how we see ways to improve, because we have to give things a go first and then see where the holes are. So the first thing that we looked at was what actually went well during this period that she was out of routine. Across the course of the week, she still managed to get a workout in. She got her steps in on 5 days and she hit her water on 4 days. That's still a pretty good week. So whenever you're looking at things that didn't go particularly well, make sure that you still celebrate the successes, because it might be that actually when you think back in context, that if you'd have done this a year ago, it wouldn't have been the same story. Now back to this person, the habits that she managed to complete over the course of that week, she did most of them post-interview. So what the good thing is here is she had a good speed to return. Now that's great, because that's exactly what we want whenever we have a period of time where we're off track, to get back to normal as quickly as possible. On the other hand, across the course of this week, she actually really struggled with food, which shows us where one of the gaps was. Now for context, the interview was midweek and she usually does her shopping and her planning of her food on a Monday night. Now she didn't have the time or the mental capacity to do that, meaning that she had a bit of a gap at the start of the week where there wasn't really a food plan in place. And after the interview, she only had a couple more days at home before she was away for the weekend, so she decided to wing it that week, which was actually not the best thing to do. And that's okay, you're allowed to make mistakes, we need to learn from those mistakes, and that's exactly what we did. Now, because she decided to wing it from the start and our other approach didn't end up coming in place, we therefore needed other alternative strategies that would have been feasible. I like to think of these as the next best thing. So 2 next best thing options that she could have done instead, realistically knowing what we know now. Option number 1 was using the weekend before to plan for the week ahead and get the food in. That would have meant she wouldn't have had to have done any of the thinking in the first few days of the week and would have made it a lot easier to handle food. Now, option number 2 would have been to use the food that she already had cooked and batched in her freezer as the food that she was going to do for the week, rather than having to think about making new. This was something that she could have done anyway, but actually the thought hadn't occurred to her, which again is alright. Some lessons have to be lived to be learned. So now next time that she has a stressful or overwhelming week coming up, she's got 2 different strategies that she can put in place and give a go. And if they don't work, that's alright, we can go back to the drawing board as long as we're learning from what we're doing. So if you're working with a coach that's saying, well, why didn't you just do better, then you're not really getting coached, you're just having someone telling you what to do and shaming you for not doing it. The way that I work is that we come up with a strategy together and try things out and see what works best for you and your life. So if you want to know more about working with me one-to-one, just pop me a message.